What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the Parrot Press. Firstly, apologies. It's been a long time since I've actually recorded a video, but the main reason for that is because I've actually been streaming. So if you've managed to catch one of those streams in the last kind of like 4, 5, 6 days, hope you're enjoying them, because I certainly am as well. It gives me a chance to obviously chat to you guys, answer any questions that you have, but also get kind of live reactions from you guys as to what I'm doing and what I'm thinking as well, and we can just talk about strategies. So if you want to see them, I'm going to try and make it a regular thing, like 2, 3 times a week. It will be a little bit ad hoc because of my kind of personal schedule, but if you don't want to miss them, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, turn your bell on as well, so you know exactly when I'm going live. But a few things to actually bring you guys up to date. Let's get into the video. So first things first, we're going to start with Joseph Martinez, and the reason for that is because I actually won him. I won him a reward. Since the last time that we spoke, I've actually won probably 3 or 4 rewards, which I'll run you through in a moment. But yeah, I did win Martinez, and I was kind of umming and ahhing about what to do with that guy, because obviously we know that Busquets is there now, probably Jordi Alba's coming, but the main man Messi's there himself, and he's more than likely going to be pairing him up front, which means he's going to get a ton of chances, in my opinion. But I decided to sell him. I decided to move him on, and I'll come to that screen in a moment. But I did win him, which was good. The big transfer that I done was this one, and the reason being is because Insigne was linked to... It was annoying because the money that I won when I come fourth in All-Star Rare a couple of weeks ago, and I won that Aaron Ramsdale, I sold Aaron Ramsdale, managed to get like half an ETH or whatever, and I pretty much spent the most of it on Insigne, thinking that, you know, it's going to be a great stack with my Asario. However, you can see here his price absolutely plummeting because he is linked to Saudi. Now, he is still there, and if he stays there and you can pick one up for 0.1, I'll probably go back in for him, because that is a huge kind of underprice, so to speak, or whatever the correct word is for that. But I managed to kind of get him out. I got Savarino in. I got his one-off as well, which is quite cool, and a little bit of ETH, but I did make a big loss there. But I'm happy to have Savarino back in the gallery. For those who are interested in Savarino or have him, come out in the last kind of 24 to 48 hours that there's actually no discussions at all going on with Brazilian clubs at the moment. Now, that's not to say that he doesn't go out there, but it just solidifies and makes me a little bit more confident that he will stick around Real Salt Lake at the moment. So yeah, he come in. The next one was what made sense, and this is where Joseph Martinez comes into it as well. What made sense for me, if I'm going to get Savarino in, I might as well get Pablo Ruiz in, and we know that they pair very well together. I think the last game, or the one before that, Pablo Ruiz had 3 assists, and he was such a key person in that lineup and in that squad, and he is going forward as well. So I managed to do this trade. It was a swap. I did have to send a little bit of ETH in with it as well, but yeah, Joseph Martinez is out the door and Pablo Ruiz is in, which again, I think it makes sense. The next one was I actually sold Brian White. I brought him in my kind of last episode where I was talking to you guys why I brought him in, and I still think that he's a good capped player. And since I've sold him, he's actually gone on fire, and you can tell by his L5 there being at 68. So that is a little bit annoying, but he needed to go out the door for my plans and what I wanted to do. And again, I'm talking a couple of weeks ago, right? But for what I wanted to do. I then brought back Corey Baird. And again, because of that game week, I was missing a forward. It made sense. Houston had a good matchup. He was at home, but it didn't pan out the way that I wanted it to, because he started on the bench and only come on for like 10 minutes or whatever. But I think that he's a good utility player for me, especially if Houston have like a one-off game week and they're one of the only teams that are playing. I do have a full Houston stack now, pretty much. I think I would have 4 with a super rare in there as well. So yeah, he come back in, so not too exciting there. But then I went ahead and bought Roldan. The reason why I bought him again is because I kind of needed him for a game week, which I don't recommend people doing. But then I thought, well, I have Fry, I have Cleveland, I have their new cards. Why not create a little Seattle collection and get going with them? So I brought him in for 0.043, did I? No, 0.04. So he joined the gallery. And then next one, I won this guy and sold him basically almost straight away. Got a few offers for him. And to be honest, if we take a look at him, he's actually a good player in terms of threshold, but I just didn't want anybody from that league. You can tell how consistent he is. He's got games starting again this week, I think it is. So yeah, that's why his price is up a touch. Obviously, people trying to get him in, but he left for a little bit of ETH. Then I won this guy, Arteaga, for Genk. Is it Genk or Genk? Yep, Genk. And I sold him as well. And I was actually the last sell. So that was interesting. I had a few offers for him as well. But looking back historically with this guy, again, he's a decent player. He can spike a little bit. Might be decent for a threshold. But he wasn't in my plans. So I got rid of him as well. Then I told you that I just bought him, but I actually sold him again, because what I should have done is picked up Cascante, which I have now for basically the same amount of ETH. So I don't think I've really lost anything. But I should have picked him up in the meantime anyway, because I do have Stuva. I should have, sorry, not in the meantime. In the first place, I should have picked him up to pair with my Stuva. He's basically their best defender at Austin, and it just made sense rather than going for roll down when I already am pairing Fry or Cleveland, depending on obviously who's starting with Nuhu super rare. So it made sense to sell Roldan and bring in Cascante. I managed to bring in an older card of him with some decent XP as well, which is always helpful. Then last night on stream, I managed to buy Gustavo Bou. So in previous videos, I've always said that I was lacking a little bit in defenders, lacking a little bit in forwards, had a little bit of a panic on stream last week as to what the hell am I doing with my gallery, because maybe I made that jump too quick into having like 4, 5, 6 lineups or whatever on a game week. Maybe I should have went for like the 3 and really solidified and really bought some players that I was that are expensive kind of thing, but deliver more than the kind of little 0.02 cards and stuff, which can obviously be helpful in your gallery. But you know, I would rather quality over quantity, and I feel as though I'm kind of leaning more towards quantity at the moment. But anyway, I needed a forward, and this guy just made sense for me because I have a Carlos Hill. I am all about that stacks. I've now got Tommy and Russell. I've now got Boo and Hill. I've also got, who's the other one that I've got? Savarino and Ruiz, which we spoke about at the beginning of this video. So I am happy to bring Boo in. He's been very, very good in the last few games. He did have an auction, which I was going to wait for. So it'd be interesting to see what that actually goes for. I don't know if it's already gone. Okay. So I basically picked him up for what the bid is in the auction at the moment. That probably will go up maybe like one more bid. So I'm happy to get him in. It didn't really make sense for me because I was trying to negotiate for a 2020 card to match my Hill. But they just, yeah, the people that I was negotiating with just wanted too much money. So to get in a new card for him for that price, 0.0761, just made sense, and I'm happy with it. So that brings us on to what am I looking at for this game week. So 391. This is my current all-star rare team, which, as we know in the MLS, home games are what you've got to kind of focus on as well, because of all the travel that's involved from like one side of America to the other. You could be on hours worth of flight and hours worth of traveling, but I went for home games here. Now it's not the MLS fixtures, it's actually the League's Cup, which is covered by Sorare, which is great. But we've gone for the Real Salt Lake Boys up here as the stack. Now they are against Seattle, so it's obviously going to be a bit of a tough game, but Real Salt Lake have been doing very, very well of late, and as I said, being at home, that helps. So then I've got the Austin boys at the back. So they actually play against a side from Liga MX, which is not a good side from what I've been told. Andy Black mentioned that to me on stream the other day. So I've gone for these guys at the back. I could have chosen Nashville to go with here, but I've gone with Austin. So Cascante making his debut. And then we've got Zelarayan at home against St. Louis with the captain's armband. So I actually think it's a pretty strong all-star rare lineup. The next lineup that I've put together, Boo makes his debut in here with the New England Revolution duo here of Heel and Boo. So I'm very, very excited to see what they do. Now, they do have a tough fixture against Red Bulls because they seem to always shut out the number 10 when they play. They done it with Hani Mukhtar. I think they done it with Acosta, or there was definitely another like big number 10 in the MLS that they just literally shut out. And New York are at home as well. So I'm not expecting amazing things, but a little combo there, a little assist with a Boo goal, that would be fantastic. We've got Reynoso in there as well with the captain's armband. He's in great form. And then that's where we've got the Nashville boys in here at the back. Now, Lovitz, I expect to absolutely start because he missed the last game through suspension, so he should come straight back in. Joe Willis, I'm not sure. Now, there are some, obviously, predictions here to say that he's going to be benched. I'm going to keep an eye out between now and the game week and see what happens if we can find out any news there. But I would like to think that Willis starts. Their next lineup, now I'm actually a person short on this, and I don't know whether it's worth actually going out and buying like a 0.01 player to try and win that amount back almost. But we've got Fry in there. He should start. He did start the last game after coming back from concussion protocol. But I will keep an eye out on here because there is going to be some sort of rotation with this Leagues Cup. Definitely, it's just who can actually get some lineups out where they've got all 5 players. So we've got Fry in goal, we've got Zimmerman in there. Again, he should play, hopefully. He's 68%, but I will keep an eye out again for news. Bunbury up top, which we always know, terrible, but hopefully he can nick a goal. Lewis Martin's in there, and then I've got 50 points left to pick up a midfielder, and my midfielders pretty much, they're not going to start. I mean, Tommy could start, but obviously he's at 58, and then I'm down to these 2 guys as well. So not too sure whether to go and pick somebody up or whether it's not even worth it, especially if there are some risks in that lineup anyway. And then lastly, we've got Champion Rare Pro. We've got Houston kind of stack here at the back and midfield. But I don't think that they do very well against Orlando away from home. But it's just a lineup that I'm going to be putting out there because I've got the players to use. So why the hell not? Herrera, I'm not too sure if he's going to start as well. He's been playing in the MLS All-Star game, but I will keep an eye out for him. But he does wear the armband, set pieces and all of that. Johnny Russell away against Cincinnati. Really, really tough fixture. But from an AA standpoint, hopefully he doesn't kill my lineup. And then we've got Nuhu in there, and we all know, or from what I've said before, Nuhu is not good away from home, and he is playing against an informed Real Salt Lake team. So I'm not expecting too much on this lineup. So that's what it looks like. I'll throw in some training lineups as well. I could put the likes of like Gressel, super rare, in somewhere, but they're playing against Lyon, and Lyon are at home as well. So I don't expect amazing things for Vancouver, but that's what my lineups look like this week. So moving on to actually what this title of the video about is that I'm not ready. And I am not ready for Europe, the European return. I filtered this to show you my challenger, my champion, and my Division 2 teams, players. And this is all I've got. I've got a couple of 3 goalkeepers, and hopefully I can get 2 starters out of the 3. 1 super rare, Teddy Tuma, who's moved, and I've spoken about him a lot on stream. I think he does well where he's gone to, by the way, from Stade Reims. I think he does okay there. I think that he is a bit of a bargain at the moment with his price all the way down at like 0.1. I think it's crazy. I am looking at his super as well, if I can get some funds together. But I think he does okay there. Now, he's not going to smash it like he did at his old club. But I still think that he takes over sets there. And I still think that he picks up, maybe like 7 or 8 assists and 4 or 5 goals in that season, which... Again, we all know we only need a week where all of the stars align, and Teddy Tuma definitely hits over a 90 for me during the season, maybe even a few times. So he's in there. Taylor Booth, he needs to get his act together. We've spoken about him before. And then we've got Smell and Unastal as that kind of stack. And Smell, there isn't any talk at the moment about him leaving, although he wants to leave. But in terms of there isn't any talk about linked clubs from what I can find out at the moment. So if you do know anything, then drop a comment down below, guys. That would be much appreciated. So I'm not ready at all. And that comes back to my point that I made earlier. Did I kind of jump too much into America? Maybe, and that's why I was having a bit of a panic. I was talking to people on stream about what to do. I was almost going to sell like about 6 or 7 players to a bot and just get some ETH, and then go back into Europe. But that probably doesn't make too much sense now. My overall strategy was to win as much as I can in the summer and before the kind of like end of August, or the middle of August, when teams come back and they start playing again. And we still have a good few game weeks to do that. So fingers crossed I can win some stuff in the upcoming game weeks. It's very annoying because the strategy was panning out, right? When we won Ramsdale and I sold him for half an ETH, then I could have reinvested that into Europe, but I was missing that striker. And it was a big kick in the teeth to do that deal for Insigne, but I just couldn't take the risk that he does end up staying. And he's been out injured for the last couple of weeks as well. So I'm not ready, but I'm over the panic. I'm going to see what comes in the next couple of game weeks. I am looking forward to this game week because I do think that my 2 lineups that I've got here for All-Star and All-Star Rare Pro, even though that I'm only paying 1 super rare there, I think that I could maybe get a couple of rewards there, even, tier 4s, tier 3s, whatever it may be. Get it into the gallery. Either then I can sell them on, get some ETH in again. But I'm happy about Gustavo Bou being in there now. It gives me another option for forwards, which was much needed. And then obviously I've got the stack in there with Cascante to use with Stuva as and when I can. So if you like the video, guys, hit that like button. If you want to see some more, please hit that subscribe button and keep an eye out as well, because I am streaming mostly in the evenings at the moment, around about kind of 8:30 UK time, a couple of times a week, where we can jump on there, have a chat, etc., have a laugh, go look at some gallery reviews, look at some players, talk about strategies and all that good stuff. It's something that I'm really enjoying at the moment. So please, if you're free and you want to drop in, then feel free to do so. But until next time, guys, I'll see you in the future.